Okay, hey there guys, so we're going to be doing kind of the part 2 to the video from last night about the fight control still. So this one, it's going to be a little bit more, not more advanced, just a little bit more. So this one is going to involve a bit more playing with the nodes, consistently trying to land your intercepts, heavy countering when you're comfortable. This isn't like too much of a spacing one yet. That's more going to be the next one, how to manipulate your spacing a lot better, and timing your specials on the power or just under theirs. So I will get into that one when we get to that part. So this first one, this is just about playing with the nodes. So I went to Act 7.3 because you have the paradox, and that honestly is such a good one to exemplify this. So this is in the first quest, it's the debuff one. So the more paradox you have, the longer your debuff lasts. But at the same time, every time you parry, you get an extra paradox, and if you get to 9, you basically half die. So with certain champions, you're able to basically cheese it, where if you notice with Nick Fury, I think at 3 I was still able to. At 3 Paradox, and especially at 4, you're able to land an 8-hit combo. So by doing that, you're able to control, by reading through the nodes and playing with how the node wants you to play, you're able to cheese out the fight, right? And so you just have to throw your specials to keep it down. So you have to maintain not over parrying. But this one for a Paradox node wasn't as bad because it was only parry, so it's pretty easy to control your Paradox charges and do stuff like that to have openings that are not dictated by your parries. But when you are parrying, like here, I'm able to get in 8 hits by only throwing light attacks, and obviously Nick Fury's bleed is very, very big, so when you're using only light attacks, you're able to get in 2 bleeds basically in a single combo. So this is another node in Act 7.3. They go unblockable if they have a heal buff. There's heal or hide, and you also sometimes want them to get the healing buff. So I didn't want her to go unblockable here because I lost control of the map. I went far back, and if she goes unblockable in that situation, and if she starts throwing a special or she like dashes in at me a lot aggressively, I can probably evade it against the wall for long enough, but it's not something you'll want to risk. So I'm able to bait out a special here, and I don't dash in after it that you can punish, so that way I have that. If you notice here, kind of what I was talking about, you notice how I ended my or I didn't throw an extra light attack anywhere, so I don't go over into the 3rd bar of power for Torch, so I'm able to maintain that for that part. So I get a message, so I lose track of the timer and that, and she goes over 1 bar of power, so I want to lose some of the control I had on the map previously because I gained the distance back I already wanted, so I didn't need it anymore, but I wanted to maintain distance because her unblockable SP1 could have been a bit annoying if I had gotten tagged. Because she does all those flips, it's easy enough to get nicked once or twice, and you just don't want that. So this is the consistently landing intercepts. Landing intercepts back at like the start of the game, even through like middle, like, you know, a couple years ago, it was seen as like a much higher level thing to do, but by now I feel like it's seen as something that most players should be doing and most players can do. Light intercepts are the fancier thing now, and even those are becoming normal. And now you have, you know, people trying to get used to doing like heavy intercepts. But just being able to land a consistent medium or light intercept with most champions is super, super helpful for maintaining distance, especially when you cannot stun the opponent. If you can stun, obviously intercept is technically an unnecessary risk, and I feel like whenever I try to film something to show off intercepting or like play Path 5 in AW, I always just get wrecked and they like never dash in. Like, I did a war fight today and the opponent literally just wouldn't dash. Like, Nick Fury just walked up to me for like a minute. It was really annoying. And she was doing that evade here, like throwing the specials, not taking the bait on those, but fortunately Ultron has an evade. So with some champions, even if you're not as consistent, they have a safety net built in, whether that's Kitty Pryde's phase or Ultron's evade. It allows you to take some more risks. So even though I missed a couple of those intercepts, he evades for me, which is just nice. So again, I lost space on the map because of her power, but imagine if I had started that baiting when I was already on like my half of the map. I'm now already back on my wall much sooner, and let's say it took the same time, it's a lot worse. But while intercepting, I'm able to push her back quite rapidly if she was actually like playing with intercepts a little bit more. So I do another one, this time with Hitmonkey, just to show champions with different reach. So I'm using some more light intercepts in this one. And again, he wasn't taking as much of the bait as I would have liked him to, but you can't have the perfect AI every time, can you? So I ended up getting clipped some. Like, right, I got clipped, but you can't land every single intercept perfectly. It's going to happen where you're going to mess up sometimes, especially when you're trying to risk something that has to do with timing. So it's whatever, it's what it is, right? So I'm trying to get him to take some more bait, and he is taking the bait on some of those. And if you notice, when I'm actually using the full 5-hit combo and you intercept, you push them back a fair bit. So intercepting is a very good skill to get decent to good at to maintain your spacing. It just allows you to not have to wait for them to always come in. It allows you to play a lot more aggressively. That's kind of why a lot of people really like Hercules, is that, you know, he's able to play really, really aggressively with his immortality, his unblockable stuff, and the infuriate debuff that he has. You're able to get them to come in at you a lot more, and you're able to just parry, or how you should be playing him to build his charges, is intercept aggressively. Like, look at that. This AI, I swear, has been a bit weirder recently, like just like walking forward a ton. The game's been a bit finicky, like there, I was trying to dash back, and it just doesn't dash. Much fun, right? It's kind of how this game goes sometimes. But yeah, so intercepting, I'm able to maintain a center distance on this map, right? The center point for this map is the gap to see the pillar, but mainly the pillar in the background, if you ever notice him staring at you. And if you notice, I start to take back my ground even though I got pushed back. I'm already back on his half of the map, and I'm still aggressively intercepting, so I keep on pushing him further and further back. And I think that kind of shows how that kind of goes, right? Like, while pushing them back... Oh, I just decided to eat an SP1. I thought I ended the clip there. I actually don't remember eating the SP1. I guess I was... But yeah, so intercepting, it just allows you to very quickly push them back if they're willing to play. If, you know, sometimes they're just like, they don't come in. And it's going to happen. It's whatever it is, right? So this, I was just doing some duels to show this off, about like different heavy spacing. So I messed that up. I actually needed 2 dashes because Spider-Man has a shorter dash back, apparently, is what I learned doing this, actually. So I dash back twice, and Spider-Man's like animation, it goes pretty far, but his heavy attack reaches so far. It's absolutely insane how far it goes. Like, you'll see this, like, you're not really able to see it too well in this. I could have done it against that opponent. If you want to really test out, like, Spider-Man specifically, how big his heavy attack is, he can heavy counter Ebony Maw, which is really hard to do in this game. Ebony Maw has a super long reach heavy, and it pushes you really far back to dex it because of the rock. But Spider-Man is having absolutely no trouble punishing all of this. He has just a very easy to use heavy attack. It's very quick, and it has a big heavy space. So this is a champion that's pretty easy to get like used to doing heavy counters with. So heavy countering just a heavy and like special ones is usually pretty easy. Melee specials are really good to be able to learn to heavy counter. Hulkbuster, if you notice, has a longer dash back than Spider-Man, so I'm realizing I shouldn't do 2 dash backs. I think I show what happens if you do 2 dash backs. Or maybe I don't have enough... Maybe I don't end up doing that. I thought I did, because with Hulkbuster, if you do 2 dash backs, Hulkbuster has a slightly short heavy, so he doesn't actually connect if you do it. So I'm able to connect after the SP1s, I'm able to connect after the heavies pretty easily. Yeah, look here, and the extra dash back just makes it go so far away. And Clairvoyant, this is to show that some champions you can't really heavy counter too well. I know I did that one, but then you'll just start to see Hulkbuster just starts to whiff every single heavy attack. I try to like mix in some lights to like increase the distance, but then Claire is recovering too quick. It's just not the prettiest. It's not the best heavy counter to do. Hulkbuster is not a champion that heavy counters the best in this game. If you're within range, he has a decent heavy attack, but he has a good heavy attack, but his heavy range is not good, is what I'm trying to get at. So with like, right, Spider-Man, I was able to heavy counter some of those other things. I think Spider-Man can counter Claire here, but with Hulkbuster, I'm just getting absolutely brutalized by trying to do this. for some champions, if you go up against your own wall, you can actually punish heavies that you cannot normally punish. Like, you actually can punish Clairs if you're against your own wall, but I didn't really do that here. This was just kind of to show that you can't always punish heavies. Not everything's always going to work. So this is about the specials. So an important thing to do is being able to control your power, because Special 1 gives a lot less power than Special 2, and Special 2 gives a lot less power than Special 3, and let's say on average, they kind of go up in how much spacing they give you. So this, like, Colossus is Special 1, right? It's those 2 hits. It can push them back, it pushes you back really far, I feel like, when you're attacking Colossus, but as, like, a defender, or when you're using Colossus, it doesn't push them back, like, too crazy far. I might be wrong. Colossus might be the other way around. But right, I stop right above the 3rd bar of power, so I get to my 2nd Special 2 much quicker. Or for some champions, if you want to like stun combo, you can stun chain with certain champions without a power reserve node if you wait until you get like right below your Special 2. That was something people used to do with like Stark Enhanced Spider-Man, is you get up right below your SP2 and you'd build a chain like 2 or 3 SP1s. And right, I do it again here with the Special 2. So I'm just going to restart the quest, and I'm going to show the same thing but with the SP1, just that way you can kind of get a grasp on it with using like very little power. And you can also do that with your opponents when you get really good at managing, knowing like how much power your hits give as well as how much power your hits give you. It's an important tool to learn, so that way you can like push them right below their Special 1, because like sometimes in a stun immune matchup, if I don't want to be intercepting a lot, like I don't feel confident in it that day, I'll be like pushing their power as close to 2 bars of power as I can, assuming I can punish their SP1. So right here, I know I have 1 more hit in me, and look at that, there is literally 1 more parry, 1 more hit of any type, and that would have been giving me a Special 2. But I knew the power I was going to get, so it didn't happen. And I do it again, 1 more hit, and that's going to really push me over. So that's something you want to be able to control, is the power you give and the power you get. It allows you to control the specials that you're going to get, which is just a helpful tool to have. So right, for your flow, you have the first stuff, and you have this one. You want to be able to start playing with the nodes, manipulate the nodes to your advantage, consistently hitting your intercepts. That's just something that takes practice. Same with heavy spacing and learning what's comfortable for you. Timing the power is another one, kind of like those two. It just takes some getting used to the champions you're using, getting used to all of that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I'm planning on getting a more advanced one out, the 3rd part tomorrow. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye.